gain people's, some more appreciation for what you guys do, man. It's a lot of work.
It is. It is.
We're trying to teach people, because a lot of people that, like Josh said, they don't have the knowledge to actually. They don't realize how complicated and how important pit road, everything that happens on pit road is.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They just look at a race and don't realize behind the scenes of what's going on during the race. And that's what's interesting to me. And that's why when me and Steve created this show, is like, hey, I want more than just drivers on. If we can get drivers, I want to go behind the scenes more in depth of what people do.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. That was the goal. And I mean, we're kind of achieving that through the last several interviews. Thank you so much for coming on our show, sir.
Absolutely.
Like, we really do appreciate it.
So, Steve, you got a question? I've already asked 3 minutes. Your turn, brother.
Yes. Have you approached him about how it is working with Jason Ratcliffe yet?
I have not.
Okay, Manny. Okay, Jason Ratcliffe, he's one of the most celebrated crew chiefs in all of O'Reilly Auto Parts Series history. I mean, 2-time champion, I mean, most winning in series history.
Yeah,
how has it been working under him?
It's been good. It's been a learning experience because he's had so many different car chiefs that he's worked with in the past, so he knows exactly what it takes to do the job. So every day I'm trying to learn something from him. I'm trying to be more engaged in the race car and making sure that I'm hitting all the high spots and low spots on the race car. Because if I don't, he's gonna point it out and he's gonna let me know, hey, we need to work on this and we need to work on that. So I try to make sure that I'm fully focused and hone in on the things that he's looking for when it comes to from scaling the car to when we do our body scans at our shop to prep for the race weekly.
Yeah, because I mean, he came out of retirement to join this crew, and if anybody that's on here doesn't know, I mean, just to give an example of some of the drivers he's worked with: Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, Joe Logano, Christopher Bell, to name a few.
Right.
And I'm probably missing some.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
That's a big list.
Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, hence the reason he's got so many victories. I mean, just look at the list of drivers. I mean, you take an excellent crew chief, you put him with an excellent driver, you're going to get some victories. And
get some stuff done.
You can imagine. All right, just imagine having Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch on the same team as your driver.
Right. Yeah, he's with Matt Kenseth too on the Cup side, so he's done it all.
Yeah. So now that we've talked about that and how your time been with him, so this past week, Taylor Gray had an amazing performance, finishing second, even with the wheel hop incident. You guys have moved up three positions to the 10th to be 10th in points. So how motivated is your team to be successful at Sonoma this week?
We're super motivated. Taylor, he does a awesome job with the road course racing. He's grown a lot from last year, even though he had pretty good finishes at the road course last year, and I think he enjoys road racing. So I'm always motivated because I feel like the talent on our team, the talent that we have in our driver, is not lining up with our season because we've had some pretty good bad luck. Well, can't really call it good bad luck. It's oxymoron. But we didn't have things go our way a few weekends in a row, and it kind of hurt us. So I think we're on that uphill climb to kind of start to get back to where we should have been all season. So I mean, I stay motivated because I want to succeed. I want my team to succeed. I also want my drivers to succeed. But once a car goes on the racetrack, it's kind of out of my hands of where that success level goes. But I try and put everything I have into the race car each and every week. So I try to leave no stone unturned. So when there's any question about what's going on, I'm like, hey, I'm doing my job. I feel like everybody else is doing their job. It's just the atmosphere is not where it should be.
Well, like you said, you guys, you have an awesome team. You have awesome equipment, and with everybody, doing their part, Taylor he has grown significantly as a driver, and with the reps and the continually gaining experience each week, guys are only going to get better. And I think I don't know I have no idea about his sponsorship situation, who he's got, any companies, linked with him that would maybe set him up for a Cup Series ride down the line. Because it takes money. I know that. Like, it almost sometimes more so than talent. But I could see him, given a couple more years experience, I could see him growing into a solid Cup Series driver one day. Solid Cup Series driver.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And a lot of people, if someone doesn't win right, and I mean win, not just, every once in a while, but I mean repetitively win. Kind of like how Denny Hamlin did in his Cup Series, rookie season. Or how Carl Edwards did, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, if they don't make a splash right off, a lot of people kind of overlook them. Or what, they don't consider them to be as, what am I trying to say here, guys? They maybe don't consider them to be on the same level as a top driver. Well, I've watched and paid very close attention to NASCAR for 2.5 decades. And what I've noticed is there's two kinds of drivers. There's drivers that will instantly take to whatever they're driving in, and that's in whatever series coming all the way up through. Okay, they're very successful. They can adjust to whatever. Then there's a driver that it seems to take them maybe. It just depends from driver to driver, but it seems to take them just a hair longer, but they end up being successful. It seems longer.
I get what you're saying.
You guys have noticed that, but there's some really excellent drivers out there. Like Zane Smith is the perfect example, and is finally he's in the Cup Series. He's got an okay opportunity with front row. Okay, but Zane Smith is a perfect example. He's been excellent. It takes him a little bit to catch on, to really find success in whatever he's in. But once he does, he's an excellent driver. Excellent driver. I kind of put him and Taylor Gray. They are very similar drivers to me. And
Zane's going to be good, man. It's
Gray?
just with that equipment they have with those Fords right now, those Fords just ain't running good right now. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, and a lot has changed with the equipment from the O'Reilly Series to the Cup Series too. Like their cars, they drive way different than they used to, and right. Before they came out with this Gen 7 car, the cars drove similar. Like that, they went in the yaw the same way. They kind of had the same symptoms. They had the same compliances, so to speak. Just one didn't have a ride height rule, and the other one did. So one traveled 2 inches, the other one only traveled a half inch. But now with this Gen 7 car, you have to drive that car so much straighter. It snaps freer. If you don't, if you try and yard it down in the corner. And I think that's kind of the hump that a lot of these newer drivers got to get over. It's going from a car that has a lot of compliance to a car that doesn't have any compliance. It has a wider tire, so it has a bigger tire patch, so you can drive it harder. You can get more out of it in the corner. So I think these days it's probably along the lines of the O'Reilly Series equipment is just that far behind the Cup Series equipment when they used to be all kind of lined up right next to each other.
Huh. And that's a fascinating take because I never really thought of it like that. I really haven't.
But you also see a lot of like truck guys that come from the truck series to the Cup
I think
series.
that might have been why Jimmy Johnson ran so good.
Yeah, he was a high horsepower driver too. If you give him 800 horsepower, he's off to the races.
I think it might have been why Jimmy Johnson was able to run so well in the truck series a couple weeks, like last week.
Because it's a lot of the truck series drivers are able to translate the way the truck drives to the way the cup car drives too. I think that's why they find a little bit of success going from the trucks to the Cup series.
Yeah. And speaking of like when we were talking about Coronado, speaking of like setting up cars and the way the cars drive, what was your personal experience at Coronado, and what were some of the challenges that you had to face being on a track that you guys were very unfamiliar with?
Man, really the biggest challenge was hoping that your driver went out and managed practice and kind of worked its way up to the fast pace of where we wanted to be. I think there were a couple of drivers that just went in and kind of just, I don't know what they were thinking, what their game plan was, but they may have forgotten where they were on track and forgot what corner was next and went in a little too. And the next thing you know, you're pulling the backup car off the trailer. So I think that was the biggest challenge, is hoping that your driver managed practice. And I think with the way truck practice and qualifying went, they kind of had an idea that they didn't want to go in practice too hot, or thinking that they had the reps from sim to carry over to real life, because there was a lot of unknowns. Like you really didn't know how the car was going to react to the bumps, and you didn't know where the grip level was going to be. So it was a lot of stuff that they had to manage to build their confidence to finally put down a fast lap. So I think that was the biggest challenge, was hoping that the driver was going to manage the equipment.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Larson said that too, is like when they did the sim that they had to restart once they got there, that it was like with the surfaces, the different surfaces that you going around the track was a big difference compared to the sim.
Yeah, they said they were a lot different. Yeah,
they
did say that.
So yes. Did you enjoy your time though there? Did you have fun?
Absolutely.
Good experience?
I had a lot of fun. I'm kind of hoping we go back, because I didn't realize that's where they played on the big aircraft carriers, where they played the college basketball tournament out that way. I totally missed it until I saw a highlight of it. But talking to the military people and some of the sailors, man, I really enjoyed talking to those people, and they seemed like they were happy that we were there, because it's not often that they get a chance to actually go to a race, and for a lot of them, it was their first experience at a NASCAR race.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
and everybody did seem enthusiastic, and
yeah,
I mean, it was an exciting race. Much more exciting than I expected it to be. And I think it has something to do with so many different surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, I kind of lightweight expected. I was kind of worried that, there are going to be a couple passing zones and it'd be kind of a follow the leader thing, and it wasn't. It was really kind of unpredictable and exciting.
Yes.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, hope we go back there. That would be cool.
Yeah, so I agree with that, but I also don't agree. I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, because I watched Kevin Harvick's show this morning, and I liked what he said. He's like, it makes it really special when you go to these places one time. When you do it repetitively, it kind of takes the specialness out of it. And what he said was he thought it would be cool to do it in different bases every year, which I think that would be really, really neat. Now it'd be more of a challenge for people like you, Manny, with the job that you got to do. But I just think as a fans aspect to grow the sport, I think that would be awesome to have it at different bases every year. I think that'd be cool.
I think that'd be cool too. Or, I mean, you don't have to go to Coronado every single year. Just make it like every 3 or 4 year.
Yeah, rotate. Rotate. I'll be down with that.
Find you like 3 or 4 bases that you really acquainted with, and that they're okay. But I mean, just the logistics and the things that NASCAR had to go through just to get people vetted to be able to go on base, that was a nightmare for them. I
Yeah.
think that was probably the biggest headache, probably for them, was trying to get all the personnel vetted to be able to go on base.
I bet
But
you that was.
other
I
than
bet you
that,
that
man,
was
the
a
weekend
pain.
was great. It was a great weekend.
Honestly, that Josh, I don't know, man. If you bring up a good point about the possibly going to different ones, I I heard that also on, I don't know if it was at the same podcast or not, but I also had heard that along the way. That's an interesting take. I don't know if I just thought the Coronado race was it was just it was surprisingly just really exciting, and I just didn't expect it to be.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm not a road course guy
I'm not
myself.
on road course races, so
Yeah, I'm not a
I'm not
road
a big
course
road course
fan,
guy.
but I think that whole race was just phenomenal. Just with the ships in the background, and Carson Hocevar said it. The only thing that he thought would be cool would be using one of those old hangars to go through. I thought that
Ooh,
I thought that would be
yeah,
sweet
He's
as
thinking
a
of a
fan.
King Block video.
Yeah,
wow.
that would be pretty.
That would be different.
But you know what? I'm down either way. I think it would be cool to go back there and have on close to the 4th of July. I think that would be even better.
That would have
So
been cool to have it there on the 4th of July, but that's kind of Chicago's weekend.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I have a bunch of fireworks and stuff behind the
Yep,
just in the
out
backdrop and everything.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Be awesome. So let's see here. I know that I unfortunately, because of my technical difficulties, I unfortunately missed the first couple questions. So if I ask a question that had already been asked, Manny, just say he already asked me.
I got you.
Let's see. What would be during your NASCAR career so far? What would you say has been your most exciting experience?
Man, I would say there's probably a couple of them, probably two of them, probably the most exciting.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna say three. Winning my first race ever with Alex Bowman at Salem Speedway in 2012, that was pretty exciting. And then probably I would say all the first time wins for the drivers the developmental drivers that I work with Riley Herbst. He won at Pocono in 2017. That was probably like his
Okay.
and then winning with Ty at Gateway for his first win. That was pretty exciting because you just saw the potential that kid had. And Riley, he had some potential. He was a little bit behind the eight ball with development, but he's doing such a phenomenal job now in the Cup car. I just hate that he's kind of getting his spot taken away because they don't have enough room for four drivers. But I would say the first time wins with the developmental drivers that I've helped out along the way. And then I'm
Makes
not
sense.
Wade Taylor,
I think
his first Xfinity win last year at Martinsville. That was pretty exciting because that was my first win as a car chief too.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
sweet. Martinsville at the paperclip.
Martinsville. That was in
and see,
the
Martinsville-
playoffs, right?
Yeah, that was in the play. We already had got kicked out, but yeah, that was a playoff race.
So
Man,
to step up.
Getting at a vintage track like that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a legendary track right there. So, what track, in your opinion, in the circuit is most challenging? Would you say, as a car chief, and you got to scratch off Coronado because that would have to be pretty hard.
Yeah.
Most challenging. I would say the most challenging track would probably be Darlington because the both ends of the racetrack are so different, um, and you're trying to achieve. You want your race car to turn the same on both ends, even though both corners are way different. And how old the surface is, it kind of wears the tires out fairly quick, so it becomes a driver's track. Um, where you just got to drive through the symptoms. So you're either going to build tight or you're going to build loose. But you kind of want to show up and have a snug setup that builds a little free as you go. But I would say probably Darlington is probably the most challenging.
No, we just raced there, but I was curious about what about Pocono? I feel like the Pocono would be pretty challenging as well.
Pocono. So some crew chiefs want the all three corners to match, but I'm like, hey man, you gotta pick your poison because all three corners are so different. There's a lot of banking in turn one. There's the tunnel turn is not so banked. It's banked, but it's not. It's fairly flat. And then turn three is a long flat corner. So you're gonna have three different symptoms that you're gonna try and work through. But I feel like wherever your car is working the best, you kind of just say, hey, that's what you got. Kind of got to make it work. But Pocono it is challenging. You just gotta have a driver that's not scared to drive it down in turn one at 183 miles an hour, 184 miles an hour.
Yeah.
All right. Very true.
So, Steve, you want to go on the next one? You got any more questions, Steve-O?
Yeah. Just throughout your career, how many times have you had the pleasure of winning a race?
Physically
Or
at
being
the
a part
race,
of a team?
well, I kind of separate them because I have a ton of wins being in the shop, but then I don't. Once you start managing or you get on the actual team and you have to take possession of one car, it kind of throw all the shop wins out the window. But I probably got in the shop. I would say probably over 50 wins as a shop mechanic, and then as a road mechanic, probably right at about 10, I think. Because I won. I wish I would have looked through this before we got on. But I'm gonna say I probably got about 10 wins as a road guy. Because the year I got on with Brandon Jones in 2020, he won 4 races. 3 races then. Yeah. And then I got the Indy win with Ty. We won 3 times in 2024, 23. Yeah, I'm gonna say around about 10.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. Wow. As far as well, okay, so currently you're with Joe Gibbs Racing. You've been with Joe Gibbs Racing, you said, for the last 12 years?
Yeah, 12, 13 years. This is year 13 for me.
Do you see yourself being there, let's say, in 5 years?
Absolutely, I would hope so. I mean, this industry is about.
Let's not put a number on it.
It just.
Do you intend to stay there as long as you can?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to retire from Joe Gibbs Racing, but it's kind of like anything else. If there's opportunity that presents itself that kind of lines up with the direction that my family is willing to allow me to go into, then I'm gonna take the best opportunity.
Yeah, I think Steve, what you're trying to get at is where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is more. I think that's what he's trying to get at. Is like, what do you have a certain goal that you're trying to accomplish at Joe Gibbs too as well? Like, is there some?
More so, yes. That's what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, I'm at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to go cup racing.
Yeah,
I feel like I could have done that already, but it just timing hasn't lined up for me. But I feel like the ultimate goal for me to end my career on is to be a cup mechanic,
Cup Series.
whether it be at Gibbs or anywhere. I want to go cup racing.
that's your end. That's your end game. So, also, since going back to like what you're talking about with the 50 wins and mechanic stuff like that, what's the biggest difference that you've seen going from you were in ARCA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say the biggest difference is between ARCA and then going into the O'Reilly series for you?
The biggest difference is probably the rule book and how much policing goes on between those two series. NASCAR O'Reilly series, they take the rule book pretty serious, and they don't let you get away with much of anything. And I'm not gonna say that ARCA doesn't, but it's just a different kind of racing. Pretty much, it's more of I call it like an exclusive late model series. But yeah, I would say the policing of the cars are night and day.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Makes a lot of sense.
I just didn't know if there was a big difference.
Probably the level of competition too.
Yeah. Well, also, I just didn't know if there was any differences in with the stuff, the setups that you have to do when it comes to, the O'Reilly series compared to ARCA. Obviously it's going to be a little bit different, but I guess also to add on to that. So, how many years were you in ARCA? Do you remember?
So I started my career in ARCA in 2012. So I did a year there, and then went to Gibbs, and then once we fired up our ARCA program again in 2017, I joined that. I was kind of split between working in the shop and working on the ARCA team.
Yeah.
For about 2 years until I went full time Xfinity racing. But the ARCA car is not that much different from ours. They have, because of the nose and the shape of the nose, they have a lot more downforce than we have. But in terms of performance, they have two motors that they can choose from: the Ilmore and the old K&N motor.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part,
I didn't know that.
pretty much the same setups.
Yeah, I didn't know that about the motors either. That's a new fascinating thing that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. And so, after talking about everything that we've talked about, what advice or recommendations would you give to somebody trying to get into your job field?
I would say for anybody that's new, I would say go to school, get some credentials up under your belt. I know for me, I didn't get into racing until I was 27 years old, 26 years old. So there was a lot of life that I lived way ahead. So I worked in, tire lube shops, oil lube shops, and just gained a lot of hands-on knowledge way before I got to racing. So when I actually got into racing, the nuts and bolts part of it wasn't hard for me to catch on to. It was more of trying to figure out the names of the parts and pieces that I was working with. So I would say, go to school, try and get a little bit of knowledge of what it takes, and then you gotta start grinding after you leave school, and you may have to work for some bum teams, some low budget teams that really may not have the equipment. But if you look at it from the standpoint that it's a stepping stone for you to get to the level that you're trying to get to, then I think that'll make it mentally easier for you to kind of grind through the 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 bottom of the bottom to crawl your way to the top.
Yeah. And what was the school that you said you went to? Was it TI something?
NTI, NASCAR Technical Institute.
Okay. And where's that located at?
They're right there in Mooresville, North
Oh,
Carolina.
okay. I've heard of them before. I was just curious if that's what it was. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
did
so
you have a good experience? Do you think that helped you going to that school?
I think it did because I mean, when I decided I wanted to get into racing, I had no clue what it was. Like the first race I ever went to was at Wake County Speedway in 2010, and they had four cylinders out there and late model stocks out there just banging off of the rev limiter, going around this 8th mile track pretty much, and that was the extent of my first race. And then I probably didn't see a race car after that till I got to school and was in chassis class.
That's awesome, man. I when I was in school, I went to we had career centers here, and
What first
I
made
got
you decide?
he can't hear me.
Yeah.
Steve. Go ahead, Steve. What question? You got a question, buddy? Sorry.
Yeah. So, what? Originally, Manny, what made you first decide to even look into getting into NASCAR? You said something about going to a race in 2010. What made you actually make the decision to look into working in NASCAR, working in racing at all?
Pretty much it was the best of both worlds because I grew up an athlete and a mechanic. So, it was kind of, I never was going to be a professional athlete, no matter how bad that I wanted to be. But I'm looking at NASCAR. It was, I love working on stuff, but I never wanted to be married to a street car that I had to repetitively work on. I more or less wanted to work on a car, see it perform, and then come back, tear it down, and do it all over again. So between that and being able to use my athleticism in the beginning of my career to kind of see the direction that I wanted to go in, this sport pretty much afforded me that opportunity to do.
That's awesome.
That makes perfect sense, man.
Yeah, that makes great sense. Yeah. And but yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. Once you got in and what you were talking about the rule book, and I guarantee you, even it gets more strict than that once you go up to the Cup Series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they throw you out for the most smallest things. But that's their way of keeping everybody in line and making sure that everybody is not trying to pull one over on them. Is this is the rule book. These are our standards, and this is what you got to abide by.
Yeah.
And I get that too, because I mean, otherwise you'd have people trying to get all kinds of crazy stuff through tech, and I mean, people try to get slide stuff through anyway. I understand that. Everybody's trying to get a little bit of an advantage, but at the same time, you'd have people trying crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to keep things in check somehow. I understand both sides. I really do. And it's also the Premier Series, the Cup Series. So, I mean, I get it.
Yeah. So we're talking about the cars and stuff like that. What do you? And I just thought about this one. What is your personal opinion on? And they've had discussions with onion manufacturers about Dodge coming in and stuff.
Yeah, good question.
Good. I mean, the year that they left, they won a championship with Brad Keselowski, and I mean, you hate to see him go, but then you hate to see him come back, and now they have to spend all this money just to get back going again. So I think it's good. It's another American brand manufactured car. So I think it's always good to bring in another competitor to kind of seize the top four manufacturers in the country.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's a good thing for the sport. We've had this conversation before, and there has been talks about Honda coming in possibly. Uh, and we've had this discussion. I think it's big for the sport. More manufacturers, the more sponsors. I'm excited to bring them all on. To me, yeah, that's how I feel about it. What about you, Steve? How do you feel about it?
I tend to agree. I don't know necessarily bring them all on, but yeah, Dodge definitely. Honda, uh, possibly. Just the more the competition would get better because you would have more completely like factory backed teams that's focused, like that's their top focus. You'd have like a Chevy, an HMS, you know what I mean? Then you'd have the Toyota for Gibbs. Okay, then you'd have, for instance, but you get what I'm saying. You could have a one main team for each of them then, instead of having, where you got Aspire underneath HMS, or instead of having a couple different teams, or Legacy, how they're kind of also Toyota other than Gibbs. They could be Honda, and there could be a Dodge in there somewhere. Just
Yeah, so
everybody
so
could. The competition would be a little better, I think.
yeah, so I'm gonna mess her name up, but I think it's Dina. I think it's Dina Mullen says we've heard RCRs to Dodge in 2028. Which would I mean possibly. I think they still got a lot. I mean, I agree with that, but at the same end, I think they still got a lot of developmental stuff they got to work out before they get to the Cup Series. I mean, maybe I could see him going to the O'Reilly Series for a while, but
Yeah, they're so far behind in technology, and I I think that they so like this is their first year, so they have to build a brand new notebook of what's good, what went good, what went bad, and it's a lot of it's been bad for them, setup wise, because they don't have the technology right now to kind of match what the premier teams are using. So you're pretty much you're string and bar, setting up your race cars and just throwing darts at the wall and assuming that whatever you bring to the racetrack is the best. When in actuality they're just behind the eight ball on their setups because everything is just so brand new to them.
yeah. And I think if it was NASCAR, speaking of these other manufacturers like Honda, if they were to bring them in, I think it should be and I just want to get your guys' opinions on it too. I think it should be a gradual process, and somebody that's going to dedicate, 10 years and say, hey, we're committed to NASCAR for 10 years. Not manufacturers coming in and then just dropping off, coming in, dropping off. I
Right.
think there should be gradual time frame for them to join. Like you said, for Dodge to build up to where they need to go to Cubs is going to be a while. And so, I mean, you just don't want to throw Honda in there and then,
Yeah, because to build a simulation program, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and your resources really have to be up to date to really accumulate all the information that you need to kind of use on a day to day basis to help with setup and to help your drivers succeed before they even get to the racetrack. Because I mean, what a few years ago before COVID, you went to the racetrack, you did a little bit of time in sim, and it was mainly racetrack work because you had two practices, two 50-minute practices. Now you have to show up and you have to be right when as soon as you come off the truck, or it's going to be a long day for you. So I think, like I said, they're so far behind on the eight ball because how much reliant teams are on their simulation programs.
yeah, I agree. She says, I'm just going by answering some questions here because we've been talking so much. Figured we give them a little shot now. They've answered you had 1,000 questions. So
Makes
also
a lot of
says
sense. Yeah, you see that
Cup,
how they're performing the Truck Series this
the
year.
Cup platform makes new people easier, doesn't it? It does not. It does not. In every series, like Manny was talking about, the cars do different things, so you got to work your way up there for sure. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, without a doubt, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sitting here as Dina M. Mullins also hurt Dodge that they gave colleague 20 million, and then they said they bought. She said they bought old trucks. I don't know if that's it at all. I think it's exactly what Manny just said, that they don't have the technology that's therefore they can't set up their trucks properly,
Yeah.
and they're kind of behind the eight ball.
So Nazy says, do you think Chicagoland will go well?
I hope.
I think so. I hope so.
That track is such a fun racetrack, and it's been good to us in the past. I mean, Kyle Busch won a lot of races there. Back when it was was it ever? I think it was a standalone race for the O'Reilly Series. But Eric Jones, he's won there a few times with us. Yeah, that track it's been a fun track, and they haven't touched it. They haven't repaved it. It's exactly the way it was 6 years ago when they quit racing there. So I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a fun race. It's going to be a lot of tire fall off. You're going to really have to manage your tires. You're going to have to manage your race car and really dig in and kind of bring back the old school racing a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of tires, I'm glad you brought that up because it just brought something to my attention. So as a car chief, and me and Steve has talked about this, and I want to get your opinion too, Steve, about what do you think about the new tire packages that's been going on with Goodyear this year?
I think they're just trying to figure out just a good tire to bring, because I think the Cup car, it loads up so much more in the corner, and by having a low profile tire, there's not a lot for to lean on. So that's where they're losing a lot of. I think that's what's causing causing the car to drive so differently, because it's just so short and there's not a lot to lean on. Which, like in our series, we have a lot of tire deflection, and it kind of helps. It kind of helps the car. Like, you can catch the car a little bit better with the tire that we drive on than you could the Cup car. So I think they didn't. I don't think they did enough testing before they brought this Gen 7 car out. I think they kind of really wanted it to roll out at that time. And looking at F1 and how they roll out their new car packages, I feel like they do at least 2 to 3 years of research and development before they say, "Hey, teams, this is where we're going, and this is what you got to have." And they also allow teams to do a lot of off-season testing to make sure the product that they're putting on the racetrack is good, which they did a year ahead. But I still don't think that Goodyear was really focused on trying to bring a decent tire that's going to hold up to the what was how the drivers was driving the cars.
Yeah, I don't think they were really that concerned about that at first. I think because if you remember, I think they were more concerned about safety because we had so many people suffering concussions and everything else right in the first year or so. I think that's where everybody's concern was right at first, as opposed to being concerned about the tires and where they should have been. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. That's what over the last year and a half. That's what's been going on with. We've moved from the PJ1 to the resin to now, Goodyear rolling out new tires every so often. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah, but I agree with Manny on that end. That I think that they should do some more development and let them drive, and instead of testing it testing it in the regular season. I think that why not do as much testing as you can possibly in the off season? You know, that to me that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, our test team, NASCAR and Goodyear, they do a lot of tire tests. They pretty much are 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead when it comes to certain tracks, and when they're trying to develop a tire, they allow every manufacturer to go out and test that tire, and they kind of amongst the teams they kind of say, hey, this is the tire that we agree with, and based off of that, Goodyear makes pretty much their own decision if they want to go with what the drivers are saying and what the teams are saying, or if they feel like the information that they have on a particular compound is best for competition that they'll roll out. But I mean, they're doing testing every 2 weeks. Our test team is out testing somewhere. It's you'll be surprised how much testing goes out during the season. But yeah, I feel like some of that testing can be done in the off season, but really in the off season it's cold, so you're not really going to match the temperatures that you'll see when you go to some of these.
See, that's why you're a car chief, man. I didn't even think I didn't even think about that. That makes total sense.
Yep.
Now, what am I saying here, dude? I just that does makes total sense. And like you can do it like even down in Florida and stuff. The weather's going to be different, in the all season. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
so
Point.
let's answer just a couple more questions if you guys don't care. I'm having fun doing this. It said, Nazy, sorry, man, it's been so long. It says, and why won't they race trucks at Chicagoland?
I think it's just scheduling. I don't think they've ever ran.
Yeah.
No, that's a valid point. I mean, I thought the truck race was okay at St. Petersburg this year. So, I mean, Chicagoland I think would be pretty fun. So I've wondered that too myself. I don't know the answer to that, but I think it probably is a scheduling issue. Do you all think Corey Heim will do good?
They race the truck at Kansas, don't they?
Yeah, they raced there. They raced the second race.
Okay. So I was going to say they'd have, I mean, that would be I would envision it being a similar race to that because Chicagoland's similar shape. So, I mean, if they had a competitive race at Kansas, I think they would maybe even have a better race at Chicagoland, especially considering that it's 25 years old or something now. If they haven't repaved it since they built it, have they?
Nope.
Yeah, and I like that too.
Yeah. That's honestly, that's nice. It's going to be tire wear, all of that. Like you said, it's going to be like old fashioned racing.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be nice. I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, Nazy said, do you all think Corey Heim will do good next season when he's full time and he gets a win next season? I think Corey Heim's going to be a hell of a driver. I do. I mean, that's my personal opinion on that one. So, but you just never
solid.
You just never know.
I don't know.
You just never know
about winning. I don't know, but I think it'll be competitive.
Yeah. And Nazy said, I think they used to race trucks at Chicagoland in 2012, somewhat of that time. I ain't for sure. I would have to double check on that.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been so long, man. I mean, heck, that's 20-something years.
Right.
But would I like trucks? Yeah, of course. I'm down for it, man. I'm down as a fan.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, welcome in.
Yeah,
Does Denny get the chip this season? That's a whole conversation, bro.
That is a whole conversation.
Oh, me, I'm just gonna make it simple. I'm gonna do a yes or no. I'm going yes. I think he's going to. Just because I think he got a little bit of the shaft last year. That's just my opinion. I think he should have won it last year. That's just me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just want to see good racing.
Yeah.
I just want to see good racing.
Nothing against Kyle Larson. Same.
Yeah, just good racing. I appreciate Sarah for joining the fan club, but we've already had Manny on the show for an hour. He probably wants to get off here by now.
Probably so.
Yeah,
Probably so.
but I do appreciate you coming in, man, and talking to us and hanging out with us today. And I've really enjoyed my time with you, and got to know a lot more that we didn't know. And I hope you guys the best of luck this weekend. I'll be cheering you guys on. I think you guys are going to have a great weekend again there. And so, and maybe we can give you some luck. When we had Blake on last week, they ended up winning when I said I hope you guys win. So hopefully I'll bring you some luck, and you guys get it in victory lane, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the
Victory
opportunity.
lane.
And good luck. Good luck.
Hey, man. That's the game. That's the game.
Have fun. Good luck this weekend. Also, God bless. I always say that at the end of every show. And congratulations on the new house. And we'll talk to you later. Hopefully, maybe sometime we'll get back on in the future, and we'll just have conversations about racing, if you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah. All right. Well, be safe this weekend. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you guys. Bye, Steve. I'll see you later. You guys have a good night.
All right.
Take care, man.